Dabi is Touya Todoroki. No cap. Oh, I look gross without a hat. Listen, when your barbershop is closed, it's kind of a hard life. But I'm not the only one with a very interesting hair day today. What's up? It's Truth Hero, and welcome back to another My Hero Academia chapter review. It's the one we've all been waiting for. Boku no Hero Academia chapter 290 of the manga. Oh my goodness. Listen, we'll talk about Bakugo's resolve, and Shoto and Nejire teaming up, and Gigantomachia's arrival on the scene. But really, we're gonna truly focus on the one thing that mattered this week, and that is Dabi is finally revealed to be none other, oh my goodness, how could we have known, Touya Todoroki. Let's dive in. The chapter opens with Jaku hospital staff rushing to room 315, Rei Todoroki's room, in a desperate attempt to turn her TV off. They must know Endeavor is fighting, but could it also be something else? As Rei quietly watches the TV and the news announcer, the picture starts to get staticky and jumpy, and when it eventually buzzes in and out and flickers back, we see something that the hospital staff probably couldn't have even imagined. It's a video of Dabi alone sitting on a couch with his shirt off, showing his scars. Rei is thinking to herself, what is this? Who is this man? Oh, we'll find out a bit later, Miss Todoroki, and you might want to stay sitting down. But what an awesome way to set up this chapter. We'll discuss this reveal when we get to Dabi's part, but what a great way to just hook you into this chapter. Good job, Horikoshi. We then flash to All For One talking to Shigaraki and saying it's a good thing Machia just showed up, because I wouldn't be surprised if your body just crumbled right now. After all those super moves from Endeavor and Deku, you definitely can't fight. You're lucky to be alive, actually. I'm sure Shigaraki's disappointed in himself that he can't keep fighting, and he's obviously annoyed having to listen to All For One in his ear, but he's pretty much spent at this point. He's too tired to even think. I mean, I can't imagine how much pain he's in, so All For One, like it or not Shigaraki, he's telling the truth. Shoto also realizes his limits, and he knows that he can't take on Shigaraki and All For One combined at this point, especially not with other villains coming this way. So he and Nejire combine their powers and realize that we still have to go beyond our limitations in this moment. Let's do this. How cool is this combination attack between these two, using Nejire's waves at 100% and Shoto's thermal revolution to create a flash freeze heat wave called Green Flood. I don't know what any of those words mean, but it's gonna look pretty cool animated. However, Endeavor sees the real danger before they do and shouts, "Run! Flee! Get away, guys!" But it's too late. As Nejire and Shoto are launching their attack at Shigaraki, Gigantomachia swoops in and pulls Shigaraki to safety, and the force from that swing sends Nejire and Shoto flying to the ground. Luckily, they're not too injured. Other heroes are sort of okay as well. Bakugo, who is being carried by Ito, wakes up and says, "Let me go, Four Eyes. I need my perfect victory." I really love the fact that we get this flashback to the Class 1A and 1B training arc where Bakugo achieved that perfect 4-0 victory. And this just speaks to how bad Bakugo wants to be number one. Even when he's clearly dying, he'll get medical attention, don't worry, but he just needs to win. In terms of Shigaraki, do you guys like this whole retreat option? I assume Gigantomachia is pulling Shigaraki to safety and is going to leave with him. So there are good things about this and there are bad things about this. The good thing is, obviously Shigaraki will survive, and this will be the final victory the villains need to fully break people's confidence and faith in hero society. The game, the long con that the villains have been playing since day one, it's finally over. Today, the villains won more than the heroes did. This does also give some hope to people that still want a Prison Break arc, although I don't think this is going to happen because Shigaraki's feelings about All For One are pretty clear at this point. I don't think he's going to go back to prison and break his master out. I just don't see it happening. He doesn't need to. But the villains will regroup, and this gives them sort of a chance to implement Phase 2 of their plan. Phase 1 was tear down Hero Society. Phase 2 is building up a villain society based on power or just ability and where you rank in Shigaraki's world. The bad thing is, there's no real clear winner from this contest, much like the election in my country. The results of this battle won't be felt until much later on when people on a massive scale doubt Hero Society. It's more of a moral victory. You know, there's no decisive winner. No matter what side you want, hero or villain, it just seems like we're going back to square one. The villains go into hiding again, and the students just go back to school. I did a poll on Twitter and asked you guys who wins this arc, and by majority rule, you guys said the villains, or at least you wanted the villains to win, and ultimately I think you're right. But it's not a physical victory, it's a moral victory. Yes, there were casualties on both sides. Villains died, heroes died, but the villains didn't win by killing the number 2 and the number 1 heroes. They won by putting the number 2 hero possibly out of commission and killing the number 1 hero's reputation. Which, hey, we're getting to that part, alright? We'll talk about Dabi. We also see the same type of resolve that Bakugo has from Endeavor, who internally in his monologue is apologizing to Hawks about letting him down. He should have been the one to stop Gigantomachia, and even though his lungs are burned and he really can't do much in this fight, he won't back down. He has to keep trying. After all, I am this country's number 1 hero. Oh, are you serious? I'm sorry, That's Dabi's reaction. That's Dabi laughing at Endeavor right now. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, Dabi revealing his true identity to the world. Before we jump into this, because I know I'm going to get a lot of comments like this, Truth Hero, why'd you put spoilers in your thumbnail and your title or whatever? Is it really spoilers if we all knew this to be true? It's what we all believed, now it's just being confirmed. It's like if you get to finally open your Christmas gifts, but you actually took a peek back in September, alright? We all saw this coming, the writing was on the wall for about, 2 years, and now today is the day. It's finally here. Oh, there you are. Oh, Shoto's here too. Good. Long time no see. Huh? And Endeavor says to this villain, Dabi. As Dabi then shakes a bottle of something, pours it on his head, washing out his hair dye and revealing his natural white hair, and says, whoa, don't be like that. Don't call me by that name when I have such a respectable name like Touya Todoroki. Oh my god. No, he did not just do that. How to make the best arc in your anime even better 101 by Horikoshi. How to set the fandom on fire masterclass by Horikoshi. Pre-order now, because folks, it won't be available. What an absolute savage way to reveal this. Washing out your hair dye and teasing your family about the son they thought they lost, all to reveal that it's you in villain form. And we haven't even gotten to the juiciest part of this reveal, which is Dabi speaking to Rei in this video. I like how Deku kind of realizes it too, like, Touya, where have I heard that name before? You know, Shoto, Natsuo, Big Bro. Now, before I break down every character's reaction to this, because what Dabi says and basically explains at the end of this chapter here, it actually affects Shoto, Endeavor, Natsuo, Rei, obviously, in certain different ways, and sort of lets us know that their prior actions make sense because of this. But before I do that, I want to get a bit nerdy with you here. This is something that's lost in the translation between, I assume, the Japanese and English, but the Korean version that I've read to the English is lost. And that's the use of formalities when speaking, when certain characters are talking to one another. The entire time Dabi has addressed Endeavor, anytime he's spoken to him, he has always used casual speech. He's never used polite endings for anything. You know, he went from, don't go kicking the bucket, old man, something you would never say to your father or someone higher than you in, say, Korean or, I assume, Japanese society, to when he says this sentence, he uses a very, very respectable ending on it. And basically he's saying, why would you address me by Dabi when I have such a respectable name like Touya? That sounds fine in English, but when he says it in Korean, and I assume it was very formal in Japanese, it makes it seem like he's talking to someone he really respects. And it's a subtle way of Dabi finally insulting Endeavor one last time before he reveals who he is. He says, he's basically being facetious and saying, "Oh, father, why would you address me like that when Touya is such a great name?" And it's this subtlety that's unfortunately lost in the original manga from Japanese to English, but I think it's important. It's one more little jab that Dabi gets in on Endeavor before he really makes his life a living hell. Okay, nerd time over. Shoto realizes it, Endeavor realizes it, Oblivious Deku realizes it, and then we flash to Rei, sitting all by her lonesome in her hospital suite, probably with the flowers Endeavor got her and the letters sitting on the windowsill. Maybe they're wilting a little bit. And what does she see on the TV? Dabi begins to speak in the video. "I am Touya Todoroki, eldest son of Endeavor. So far, I've killed 30 innocent people up to this point. I want to let everyone know why I've done such a heinous thing." Bro. Oh man, Rei, your poor sad heart. Please don't die of sadness in this moment. Imagine for a second that you're Rei. You find out that your son, your baby boy, your firstborn, precious Touya, is not dead, but alive, so someone clearly lied to you, that he's killed 30 innocent people, and he's become this ugly, but also kinda hot, know what I'm saying? Patched up zombie villain. What do you do? What do you say to that, you know? How's your Friday going? Mine's pretty good actually, not gonna lie. Needless to say, I don't think Rei's getting back with Endeavor anytime soon. I do think, however, that after all the dust settles in this arc, the Todorokis really need to have a family meeting, and Endeavor might need to move out into that new house, cause I can't imagine he'll be accepted. Also, this is kind of in the background. I don't know if Horikoshi's going to focus on this. Maybe with Shoto's character development, he might bring it in. But Rei was doing a decent job in the hospital. She was talking to people, healing her wounds with Shoto and Endeavor. They were writing letters and flowers, and she was really, you know, having peace with it all. I think her treatment just regressed to square one, and we haven't even seen the true secrets of what Endeavor did to Touya. So unfortunately, I do think that Rei is going to be very hurt and damaged by this. Also, because Skeptic hacked all the communication networks, pro-villain move by the way, there are students watching this on their computer right now, and fun fact, they're the same little students that asked Endeavor for his autograph. But also, Natsuo and Fuyumi must be seeing this too, since, you know, he's a student and she clearly has the internet. Fuyumi and him were glued to the news when Endeavor fought the Nomu, so why would this be any different? Fuyumi, I don't know, she probably won't cook for Endeavor anymore, but beyond that, I'm not really sure how she'll react to this. Natsuo is the more interesting one here. Dabi continues speaking, saying, "I was created in a quirk marriage to fulfill the selfish dreams of my father Endeavor, who only wanted power, but I was quickly tossed aside when I was deemed a failure." And he goes on in more specifics, and that Endeavor can't hide from his past. But one thing he asks Endeavor is, "Do you know how it felt asking Natsu-kun every day why I existed in this hell?" Now we finally know why Natsuo was so cold to Endeavor, besides having an ice quirk. Haha. I mean, you thought, oh, if Shoto can forgive Endeavor because he's getting abused the most, and if Rei can kind of come around, what's Natsuo's deal? And I know this is complicated, everyone has their own reactions to someone trying to gain forgiveness, but you thought, interesting, why is Natsuo such a holdout here? Why is he so cold? Well, that's why. If your older brother came to you every single day and asked, "Why do I exist in this hell?" I understand that your father might not be your favorite person in the world. Dabi tells Endeavor, "I never stopped watching your actions from the shadows, and my original plan was to wait until little Shoto, your prodigy, grew up, become famous, and then I'd kill him, thus killing you and your dream. But then you became the number one, and I couldn't sit back and wait." Dabi says, "I even sent the little Emperor of Fallen Light, is that the high-end Nomu's real name? And ending to kill you, but you survived like the cockroach you are." And then he goes on to taunt Endeavor, like, "Did you really think if you focused on the future, the past would forget? Is you reconnecting with your family making you feel like a father figure and that your children look up to you now? How is this all working out for you? It's time for me to teach you a lesson. The past never forgets. So fall with me, Nejire Todoroki. Come, dance with your son in hell. What an absolute badass line. So let's break down what Dabi just said to Endeavor and what it means for certain characters now. Obviously, I think it's safe to say that Endeavor's career and position as the #1 hero and father in the Todoroki household is ruined at this point. Shoto is placed in a very interesting position here, and how fitting that this whole Todoroki family drama now hinges on him. He may feel sympathy towards his brother after learning what Endeavor does to him, and I'm sure we'll see more backstory in the next chapter, can't wait. And he will probably, hate his father a little more and maybe won't forgive him as much as he had been, or working with him and working towards that. But on the other side, he just heard that Touya Todoroki's plan, up until learning that Endeavor somehow became the #1 hero, was to kill him. So he can't exactly have full sympathy for his brother. Again, it all comes down to what Shoto decides to do. How will he reconcile with his father? How will he have sympathy for his brother? Will he? Will he not? And that puts him in a very interesting position, and we knew that his character would sort of develop and maybe forgive Endeavor, but this just got, twice as complicated. Ultimately, I think we'll get more specifics on Touya Todoroki's backstory in the next few chapters, because I'm sure Shoto and Endeavor and everyone else have a few questions. But really, the main takeaway from this is the villains just won this war arc, not with force, but how you win most wars, with information. The whole world just watched Dabi say that this is your #1 hero. I mean, I'm a villain, but look at him. And that's really the villain's way. They just won. It's a great moral victory for them. Anyway, that's what I got for you guys. But what do you think Dabi, Touya Todoroki, what's his backstory like? Are we going to see what happened in the hero training program with Touya and Hawks? I really want to see that. And how will Shoto react to this? How will all the heroes react to this? Let me know down below in the comments. How will Hero Society react to this? Love to hear your theories. If you guys like My Hero Academia content and these chapter reviews, consider enrolling at UA today by subscribing. And until next time, hero or villain, or unclear backstory, plus ultra.